a 15-year-old schoolgirl. All of the 400,000 eggs in your ovaries were with you at birth. They are 10 times more susceptible to radiation than all of the other DNA in the body. And scientists don't realize that. They don't read all of the papers as I do. So you have this highly susceptible genetic material which is going to make your children. And you are irradiating it because Wi-Fi's, they are transmitters as well as the routers. They are all transmitting at this height through your ovaries. Her ovaries are now contaminated. She may be normal, she may be genetically damaged, but her ovaries are at the most risk. So when your daughter grows up and she becomes pregnant and has a baby, this is where one of these eggs will be fertilized and come out. So the real damage here is your grandchildren. So you are risking the damage, the DNA damage of your child every time you sit down and you use Wi-Fi.
So if RF is having such an immediate impact on the viability of sperm in less than a few hours a day, you'd think that we'd definitely be seeing decreasing reproduction rates already. Well, let's do an informal study right here. Do any of you know someone with a cell phone and Wi-Fi that is having a hard time having a kid? Oh, me too. But let's look beyond that, shall we?
A government report out Thursday shows America's birth rate is the lowest it's been in 30 years.
Most of us have been hearing about overpopulation problems in the world. But the truth is, the CDC announced the numbers in America. Birth rates have fallen off a cliff.
The numbers reveal that the birth rate across the board have declined as well, according to preliminary data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
This is no joke. Last year they reported that U.S. reproduction was at a 30-year low. This year they're reporting a 40-year low, and what they won't tell you is why.
Infertility certainly is increasing in the world population, and this is measured through births and deaths. And so we know definitely that the fertility rate of the human population is going down worldwide.
Now, I have to admit, I immediately thought about the highly praised and very well-funded Planned Parenthood, abortion centers, as being the cause. But no, shockingly, abortion rates are also down. They're now admitting that white Americans are dying faster than we are being born, and, get this, the fertility rates among minorities are declining most of all.
Teen births in the U.S. have hit an all-time low thanks in part to a drop in births among Black and Hispanic teens. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says births among Black teens dropped 44%, while births among Hispanic teens dropped 51% since 2006.
Anyone else remember the Obama phone program that bought smartphones, therefore microwave radiation, to all the folks who couldn't otherwise afford it?
Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, He gave us a phone.
Sorry. When I tell people this, they usually say, oh, it's because the millennials, they don't know how to interact with each other anymore. I'd acknowledge that sounds at first to be a slight factor. However, it makes no sense for that to be a factor if you consider that STD rates are skyrocketing. Call me crazy, but it seems to me millennials are getting along well enough to still get pregnant, and that RF is a much bigger factor that no one is talking about. So if you'd like to decrease your chances of having a miscarriage, if you think you might want children or grandchildren of your own, or if you'd like to ensure that they're not born with birth defects, emotional problems, and learning disabilities, I would advise that you take care to remove these excessive exposures to RF when possible, and even cover your own reproductive organs and those of your children as well.